How's it going, bros? My name is Divik, and welcome into the Paleo Ark Q&A. Oh man, I did say that this was going to be its own video off to the side from anything to do with, a news video. So here we are. And we have about 20 questions to get through. Again, like I said, I'm going to do it in a different style from normal. So here we go. Let's get into it. First and foremost, let's get the introduction out of the way. So I'm going to actually do this one a little bit differently. I'm actually going to be a little bit more serious here. So let's go. Hi guys, up from the depths here. I'm team lead of the Paleo Ark project, where we TLC creatures for Ark Survival Ascended and add in new and amazing prehistoric animals of incredibly high quality for you to add into your game. So there's your introduction, and let's get straight in to the questions. Question number 1. What is your favorite creature that you have or are currently making / TLCing? I am stupidly hyped for Allosaurus and Quetzalcoatlus, but it's really hard to narrow down a favorite. A lot of creatures are in various stages of development and are so because the team likes to get head starts in their free time on concepts and model blockouts. I mean, hey, if the passion is there in the moment, why stop them? Question number 2. What are your thoughts about making a functioning snake as a mod idea? Larger, rideable Titanoboa, for an example. Titanoboa is now on the table, with Moronata figuring out snake movement with Gigantophis. I believe that's how you say the name, I'm not actually sure. Good chance it will be a crowdfunding effort because Moronata has been going through hell getting Gigantophis to work properly. The dude is insanely talented, and while I know the idea of premium mods is controversial, I think Gigantophis absolutely deserves it. Which draws you more to TLC a creature, model / designs, or mechanics? Models and designs mostly. I'm a huge paleo nerd. I love dinosaurs. The whole team loves dinosaurs, and it's really fun and important to me that the dinos we make really stand out from the rest. When you see Paleo Ark's Giga, for example, you don't get confused on whose it is. Oh, that's Paleo Ark's Giga. Like how you see the JP Rex and go, oh, that's the JP T-Rex. I want that level of iconism. I think that's how you say that. I'm not sure. Generally, what's the concepting and workflow part of the creatures look like? Like figure out abilities or referencing things in design. We sort of design the concept and come up with the ideas for what the creature looks like, while we're simultaneously coming up with ideas for its role in the game. If our creature has some fantastic abilities, it's important to reflect that in the design itself. So far, so good. 4 down, 16 to go. Let's do it. Which do you find harder to create from concept to completion? New Paleo Ark creature or Evo plus TLC creature? Honestly, an Evo plus new species. TLCs are pretty straightforward, and it's not hard to improve on a creature that isn't really used at all in the roster. What's harder is trying to find something that serves a purpose in the game's meta. Will people want to tame this dino is the question that's asked, always. What's the most frustrating part of making TLC mods or original design / concept mods for Ark? This is question number 6, by the way. I forgot to start counting. My bad. Animation, easily. It's one of the longest parts and has been our bottleneck for some time, but it's been sorted out now, and we're working a lot faster. Question number 7. What determines the order in which TLC Evo / Paleo Ark creatures are being made? Is there an order you guys strictly follow, or you just work on whatever creature you want to be released at that moment? It's pretty random, but occasionally it depends on what the team is feeling. Like right now, Becca, Dark Edge TV, is working on Terrorbird because she wants to, and look at the results. It looks great. I'll put the guy on screen for you guys so you can see again, by the way, what that looks like. Question number 8. At which point during the development of Paleo Ark, during the early days, did you realize it was going to be a big hit? Okay, here's the answer. I think it had always had the potential, but I'm going to blow a bit of smoke up my butt here, so apologies. I know what I want and what I like, and I am very unapologetic about it. I have pretty high standards in terms of quality for things like this. I don't like half-assing things. I like making a good impression as best as I can when I am doing something with my current skill set. But what also was a major factor is I had a lot of people rooting for me, and they had hope that we could pull off some incredible things, for the Ark modding scene, and I want to uphold that. Question number 9: When you silly fellas make critters, how often do you think of adding extra items or player gear alongside them? Stuff like the crypto gel or the Lidu armor set and weapon that was supposed to be a thing if I remember correctly. And is there a chance that current Evo creatures that don't have anything of the sort or won't launch with such, mainly the player gear type stuff, possibly in the near future? So will we get additional gear and stuff, player stuff, along with Evo creatures or Evo plus species creatures? We definitely do. Nothing definitive right now, but stay tuned. I want to do my raptor skin poncho on personally. Question number 10. How did you come up with the idea for the mod? Did you get inspiration from another mod? Garuga123, love you Pookie Bear, Lamo, who is one of my best friends, was along with Pod Creature too. Shout out to Pod, by the way. And as well as Kraken, who made Kraken's Better Dino, which is easily one of the best dino rebalancing mods out there. If you're not playing with it, what are you doing? Number 11. Do you have any future plans / ideas for the Paleo Ark series? I know you are a very busy guy, but I wanted to know if you were considering continuing the series or even starting from scratch, making it season 2, if you will. And here's the answer. I want to continue it so bad, but I'm afraid it won't really continue until we get a good chunk of these TLCs done. But the current idea for the Paleo Ark cinematic series is to do a soft reboot of sorts, picking up where the original episodes left off with a bit of a new storyline that intertwines with the lore and events that happened in the previous episodes. Yellow Jacket is still the series' main antagonist, and I want to explore where he came from specifically, and why his kind are posing such a massive threat to the ecological balance of the Ark this story takes place on. We also have some new characters that I want to introduce. We have Crash the Carnotaurus and Gurney the Parasaurolophus. Bonus points if you get the name references. Winky Face. And I do get the name Winky Face. But I do get the name references, So, I get the bonus points. Yes. How would you... this is number 12, by the way, sorry. How would you describe the learning curve as an Ark modder? As in, how quickly do you learn about modding and how frequently do you learn something new? Please give an example if possible. It's honestly a bit of a steep curve for me, at least at first. The most daunting thing is figuring out how the dev kit works, how to navigate this, where all the tools are. I still consider myself a novice at best. That is some bull. I am learning things every week though, just like I found out how to get the IK working with turn-in-place animations are being used on a dino when it's on a sloped terrain. Thanks Moronada for figuring that out. Oh yeah, you'll learn faster when you're working alongside other more experienced modders. We all learn from each other and it's really awesome. Question number 13. Was there ever a point where you got a decent way through the development of a creature and realized what you really wanted wasn't going to work? If so, how did you manage that roadblock? Not really as of yet. Some of our design docs have gone through several revisions just because we weren't fully satisfied on what we could really do. Question number 14. A question for the team itself, but more focused on depths. How do you feel about people coming to you and saying this is completely superior to what Wildcard does? What kind of feeling does that give to them? Or give them? Admittedly, it does make me feel awkward because Wildcard are my co-workers and I admire their work. The team feels proud, however, and makes them invigorated and accomplished. And that's one of the best feelings ever. Now, if I could just interject for a second. Debs, my brother, I know you're watching this video, I know you're listening to it. You're doing fantastic, my friend. You guys are a small team, and with you leading the helm, with as compassionate about your stuff as you are, you've told me yourself, as passionate as you are about your stuff and whatnot, don't sell yourself short, man. All these ideas, the Evo Giga, the Evo Rex, all the Evos and whatnot, don't sell yourself short, bro. I do that to myself all the time. You're doing amazing work. And the fact that there is 20 plus of you versus an entire company, I think that's really where those people come from, by the way. You're doing fantastic, my guy. Paleo Ark team is a bunch of misfits, but y'all do fantastic works. Don't sell yourself short. Question number 15. How much does PvP influence your decisions on balancing of creatures? Like, do you try and make sure your creatures have something to bring to both PvE and PvP? Oh, I had that backwards, but same difference. A little bit, but I'm going to be real. A lot of it I don't pay attention to in regards to PvP. A lot of the arguments people present are very vague in their presentations and are anecdotal, so I tend to ignore them. Some arguments in regards to PvP balancing come across as, it should be this way because it's that way. Because it's always this way. Oh, well, I mean, adapt a new strategy then? Isn't that the point of this effing game? Improvise, adapt, and overcome. But I do try to make interesting features for both PvP and PvE. When designing When designing either a TLC or Evo, how much does Paleo factor in with Ark factor, or more so, how do you try to balance each factor out? So the question is basically saying, how do you counterbalance, the Ark style of creature versus the real thing? It really depends on the creature, but Paleo accuracy does factor in a bit more than fantasy. What we usually do is we look at the real animal and model it off of that. And we look at the animal silhouette, we look at what unique features it has, and we play around with the ideas of what those features could look like and exaggerate it. Like, for example, we know Giganotosaurus may have had some brow crests of some kind. And in Giga, and in the Giga in Ark, rather, is the king of the island. So we exaggerated the head crest and made it more like a crown to signify that part of its character. Some dinos don't really need an extreme level of exaggeration/fantasy over design though. Like a T-Rex. It's an effing T-Rex. It's the coolest animal on the planet. How could you improve that? You don't. It doesn't need giant spikes or armored plating. It just needs to maintain the regality and ferocity it naturally has. And I fully agree with that, by the way. Look at Evo Rex. It looks good just like that. Look at, say, Hank from Prehistoric Planet. You don't need to get much more basic in design than that right there. If you've ever watched the behind the scenes for the movie Pacific Rim, Guillermo del Toro dives into a lot of that with designing the kaiju, and it's a very similar philosophy that I follow. And Pacific Rim, man, they really should have made a sequel to that movie, I swear. That should not have been a one and done. The Netflix series was cool though. Number 17. What inspired you to form the Ark Modding Avengers and create Paleo Ark? Ark Modding Avengers. Oh man, that's amazing. I just saw the potential to make really cool stuff, and I saw really talented sculptors and artists making these gorgeous models. And with the goal I had in mind, I knew I needed the absolute best. Some of the people I chose didn't really have major commitments to other projects, and that was on purpose. I didn't want to take people away from their own major projects and commitments if they had them already. That was really important too. Still, even people outside the team are very supportive and helped out here and there. It's really wonderful. Number 18. Is it more difficult to TLC a creature that everyone has a negative bias against, or a creature that everyone already loves? Honestly, I can't say, but I'm leaning towards the latter, as that means expectations are a lot higher. Number 19. What media/art, artists, animals, etc. does the team find themselves using as inspiration most? A lot of Paleo art. A lot of it. My personal inspirations are James Gurney, Crash McCreary, Todd Marshall, and Mark Hallett. They are my personal Mount Rushmore of Paleo artists. They paved the way for me. And A, Gurney and Crash. Ayo. If you knew those people, comment below. Paleo artists. And finally, number 20. What's something you didn't like about a certain creature from Paleo Ark in terms of design mechanics, etc., but begrudgingly kept because everyone else liked it? Quetzal platform saddle. But I will go on the record and say once more, if it hampers what we want to do with its flight mechanics, I'm scrapping it and I don't care who complains. And that, my friends, is the last question of the video. Comment below any other questions you may have, and of course, I'll get to it as soon as I can. And holy cow, I just realized I ran out of background footage here. But of course, any questions, don't be afraid to ask in the comment section below. My name is didnt. That was Up from the Depths with a Paleo Ark Q&A. Link in the description, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a good one.